I was diagnosed with classic Hodgkin's lymphoma back in November of 2017. And I will be going on 4 years post-treatment. So I guess the last time that I had a treatment was quite literally the May of 2020, which was a really interesting time. Some other big health things kind of came up across the world around that time, but at the same time, it was kind of an unspoken blessing for me because I could actually take some time off of work to get the treatment that I needed. Pretty much, I noticed that there was some issues going on with my health back in the summer of 2016, I believe. It was August 2016. I just started my master's degree at that time, and I was under a lot of stress. I wasn't sleeping very well, and I was losing a lot of weight. And I developed a cough. I didn't really know exactly what was going on with it, but I thought it's just stress. I'm doing a master's degree. I already work a job. I have a young kid at home. And finally, after months of dealing with that, my wife asked me to go to our local urgent care just to get a chest x-ray and see what was going on. And that was when we first discovered that something was not right. So it was shortly after that, going through another local hospital and going through biopsies and a number of diagnostic things that I was officially diagnosed with classic Hodgkin's lymphoma. I spent a number of months trying to get the treatment that I needed, trying to get those doctors to kind of work with me on that treatment. And I realized I wasn't getting anywhere really with it. And so my wife, who was my rock through all of this, finally stumbled upon City of Hope. And we ended up coming to City of Hope and getting care there. It was about an hour drive because we lived on the other side of Atlanta. But it was such a blessing. The doctors there took great care of me. I was able to get naturopathic help, nutritional help. I felt that rather than just going with, here, you have to do this one set of chemo like everybody else, they saw me as an individual and were able to treat me kind of holistically in every aspect. And so I ended up going through standard chemotherapy. It was ABVD for 6 months. And at the time, I guess it's important to know that at the time when I started getting treatment at this point, things were pretty rough. I'm 6'5". I am normally 220 pounds. I'm fairly athletic. I have been for most of my adult life. And at the time when I went in for treatment, I weighed 162 pounds. I had cachexia very badly. And it was to the point where I couldn't go up a flight of stairs in my home. I had severe back pain from my muscles atrophying and just weakening so much, and it was a really, really bad situation. And after the second round of chemotherapy, I noticed that my appetite came back, my weight started coming back up, my muscles started feeling awake and alive, and I started moving to that point of recovery actually fairly quickly. I was able to go back to the gym for the first time in months at this point, and use that kind of to help out with my recovery as well. After 6 months of that, the cancer had stalled, and most of the tumors had shrunk. I should say that by the time also I started getting that treatment, I had tumors all within my mediastinal range, so around my heart, around my lungs, and both lungs. It had crossed into my liver, the lymph nodes along my liver, and the lymph nodes elsewhere in my lower body as well. And so it was starting to spread pretty rapidly. It was technically, I think my doctor said stage 4 at that point. So, but from there, after that second and third round, when we finally did the next scan, things were much, much better. Most of the other secondary lymph nodes that it had spread to were completely gone. And the tumor itself had shrunk dramatically in size. Following the first line of treatment, the second line was brentuximab. We didn't go with the much heavier chemotherapy. Brentuximab did well to keep it from growing and to keep it from spreading, but we weren't really getting anywhere for that. And so at the very end of that, we ended up going with radiation, which did the trick. My cancer has been in remission ever since then. And while I've dealt with some of the effects of the chemotherapy shortly thereafter, this point, 4 years out, most of those have completely gone away. I've regained feeling my hands and feet. I'm back to working out like I was before I was even sick. And I've lived a pretty active lifestyle at this point. Inspires me. Well, I'm a musician, first off. I'm a music teacher. I sing at my church. I'm actually a music minister at my church. And so I find my biggest inspiration comes in music, with these profound messages and the texts that an artist might perform or might sing. My way of connecting with that same thing and performing it and really just kind of pouring my heart out in that way, I think is a lot of inspiration for me. You know, going back to kind of what carries me and where my sources of strength come from. It's a way to connect with my faith a lot more as well, and really dive in and strengthen that. You know, and it could be any music too. You know, I'm a classically trained singer, so it could be opera, it could be choral music, it could be rock and roll or metal, it could be all sorts of things. But anything that I can connect with in that way, and anything that's relatable, that definitely inspires me. I get my strength and resilience from. I'm very blessed in that my wife really took charge in this. She was a rock star. She stepped up while we were waiting for answers from that first hospital that we had gone to. She was looking and researching things online every single day, saying, "Hey, why don't we try this while we're at least waiting? Why don't we, go to the sauna, go for walks? Why don't we do something that we can control while we're at least waiting for answers?" And so I would not be here without her, for sure. I am also blessed to live close to the rest of my family. We're all local to North Georgia. And while nobody else in my family, I'm the first person in my family in generations to have battled cancer. None of them really understood what it was like. I must say the other thing that really kept me going is my faith. I'm a devout Catholic, and I go to church regularly. And while there are a lot of times where you sit there and you're like, why me? Why is this happening to me? There were a lot of times that I found strength in Jesus Christ and in my faith. And that kept me going through the toughest times when my family just didn't understand. When my wife as my caregiver would want to help and would want to do something. And I would look at her and say, you are helping so much. But there's nothing that we can do except move forward, wait for the next bit of treatment, wait for some more answers, and hold to what we believe in. And so those were really my sources of strength. I have one that's not from me. This is actually from a doctor that I had talked to throughout the process. And he said it in the best way that I needed to hear. And that is that, you know, when you're battling cancer, it's a battle, it's a fight. And, you know, you are a warrior. You can be that warrior. It will take times where you feel like you're fighting and you don't have anything left. But you can make it. You can push through, and if you know that you can go to incredible lengths, you can get there, and you can beat this. I'd also say, have people around you. Don't be afraid to share. I know that this is a time where you're vulnerable. This is a time where you're going to feel like life is crashing down, and don't be afraid to talk about that with other people. You know, people care about you. Your family cares about you. Community cares about you, and they're not going to know exactly how to help you. They're not going to know what to say or what to do in every sense. But if you just share what you're feeling, share what's on your mind, share what's in your heart, that can be medicine in and of itself, and that will help give you the strength to keep going. Milestones are a good bit. First is being able to kind of get that dream job that I've been looking for. You know, I've been always looking to become a high school choral director. That's me aiming for the stars, I guess. And I'm at an incredible school and doing the job that I absolutely love. Another milestone is my wife and I just bought kind of the house of our dreams. We've been saving up for a very, very long time, and we're in a community that we love, closer to our family, closer to our friends, and it's a wonderful place for us to live. So we're very excited about that. I celebrate life by being with my family, by spending time outside, by taking care of my house and taking care of my community, and you know, really just enjoying every single day, because every single day is a true gift. In another reality, I wouldn't be here right now, and you know, so every day that I get is itself another gift. I'm gonna keep celebrating it by making music every day, by going outside and you know, doing something new, learning new skills, learning a new language, just taking everything that life has to offer and enjoying all of God's gifts each and every day.